FlossTube, I'm Annie and I am the Proper Stitcher, and welcome to episode number 58. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for your continued support, all of your wonderful comments, and all of your encouragement that you send my way. I really do appreciate it. This is going to be a fun episode. I have lots to go over with you today. This is a channel where I like to talk about cross stitch and some quilting, and hopefully give you inspiration to fully finish your cross stitch pieces. I have been gone for a couple of weeks. I was on vacation last week. I went to Rosemary Beach, Florida, which is in the panhandle of Florida. We go to that area every year. We stay at different locations. This was the first time we stayed at Rosemary Beach, and it was also the first time that Matthew and I took the kids to the beach by ourselves. We've always gone with either a group of friends or with family, and this was the first time that we took them ourselves, and it was just wonderful to have that time with them. I felt like it was much needed break for all of us. So we had a wonderful week. It was extremely hot down there, extremely humid, but it was also hot and humid here in Knoxville, so I figured if we were going to be hot and humid anywhere, it might as well be at the ocean. So it was a great week. We had a good time. My sister Lisa came over to visit. They live in Panama City, so she and Dan came to visit for a couple of days to spend the day with us, and we went to visit them one evening and went to went to dinner near their house. So that was nice to see Lisa. And we got back on Saturday and spent all day Sunday and getting ready for the week. And it's just been a really busy week between returning from vacation. Gray went back to work. Tristan's getting ready for a cross-country camp. He leaves on Sunday. So it's just been a busy week between all of those things. So I've also been busy cross-stitching, and I have some finishes to share with y'all today. So what I thought we would do today is go over my previous finishes and talk about some pin cushions and share with you all my fully finished objects for the week. I do have a guest appearance and to share with you. I have a guest to my FlossTube today, and I'm going to show you my whips, and then we'll go into our giveaways and my future plans. So grab a pen and paper, grab your cross stitching, grab your tea, whatever it is you're drinking. I'm having coffee today. It is 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I feel like I'm going to fall asleep. It has just been a very long day, and so I had to make myself a cup of coffee. So grab your coffee if that's what you need right now. I think I showed y'all this last time. This is the best gift. Allison Norris gave this to me at StitchCon, and she was so sweet to make this. This is a little coaster, and I love it. I use it all the time. Thank you so much, Allison. Oh, and thank you all for all of your wonderful comments on StitchCon. I know so many FlossTubers have been posting videos on their StitchCon recap. It was so much fun. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I hope you've enjoyed watching all the other StitchCon recap videos. Everybody has a different experience, and it sounds like Weekend B was just as exciting and just as much fun as Weekend A. So thank you all so much for watching through that. I hope that if you do not get to go to StitchCon, hopefully you will get to have an opportunity to go to a cross-stitch retreat or some stitching time with your friends. It's just so much fun to get together with others who enjoy our craft and our hobby and just as much as we do, and just to sit around and cross-stitch together. I find that we learn so much from each other, and the best way to do that is just by hanging out together. And so if you get that opportunity, try to get together with some cross-stitching friends. I don't have anyone in Knoxville that I cross-stitch with, but I do see friends often. We visit girls trip weekends, things like that, or we do FaceTime trying to cross-stitch together. So hopefully, and FlossTube. I feel like FlossTube, I get to connect with so many people or watch other people and what they're doing, and I just love doing that. So hopefully that you find that happiness and peace stitching with a friend or with people on FlossTube. So okay, let's jump right into our video today. If you have not watched me before, my philosophy on cross stitching and on anything really in life is well, in your cross stitching or quilting world, is I would rather have a finished project than a perfect project. And I have said that from the beginning. I've said that for many years, but I've said that from my very first FlossTube episode, and that is why I started a FlossTube channel. A lot of you asked me that question last week, what made me decide to start a FlossTube channel? And I've told this story before. I'll try not to drag it out too long since I've talked about it so many times, but I have found that through meeting people at either cross stitch retreats or through just visiting shops and things like that, I have heard so many people say that they cross stitch, but they never finish their pieces because they cannot finish it as perfect as someone else. And so, and they follow people on Instagram or on FlossTube, or they look at magazines, or they whatever the case may be, they're always comparing their finishing style and their finishing skill level to other people. And what they don't realize is those other people that are finishing for either a model or model stitching or for professional finishers, they've been doing that for years and they did not start off that way. So I have always felt like the more you do something, the easier and the better you get at it. The easier it becomes and the better you get at it. And I want to take that fear out of finishing your cross stitch pieces and know that my pieces are not perfect. I've shown y'all many pieces that are wavy, wonky, not perfect by any means, but I still love them all the same. They're finished, they're on my shelves. I give them as gifts, and I am not a professional finisher. I don't pretend to be a professional finisher, but I enjoy having these pieces fully finished and on display in either my home or on my shelves or given as gifts. And so that's my goal, is to hopefully inspire you to finish your cross stitch pieces. And if you want to send them to a professional finisher, that's wonderful. But and I have sent many things to professional finishers before, but sometimes that becomes cost effective, and I got to where I just really would rather spend that money on my cross stitch pieces or on my cross stitch supplies. So I started trying to finish on my own. There are still some things I will probably send to a professional finisher, but for now I find that just try it. So anyway, that's enough of that. Let's jump right in. I want to show you some of my previous finishes, and I forgot to get them off of my shelves, so hold 1 second, I'll grab those. Okay, so I grabbed some of my previous Patriotic Finishes that I have on display on my shelves behind me. I could just point to them, but I figured you would appreciate it if I picked them up and showed it to you a little bit more closely. So this is one of those pieces that I had professionally finished a few years ago, several years ago. This is a Brenda Gervais design, and I can't remember the name of it. I'll look it up and list it below, but this is a with thy needle and thread design, and I stitched using all of the called for floss, and I don't know what linen I used on this because I stitched this probably 5 years ago. And then here's the backing. And I had Joy with Finishing Touch. She is a professional cross stitch finisher, does beautiful work. She finishes for so many people, and she has finished several things for me in the past, but she always did a beautiful job for me. So this is a Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread, one of my favorite patriotic pieces. I love how she put this needle in here with this string on it. That was such a cute idea and a wonderful touch that she did. So that is one of my favorite patriotic pieces that I have stitched. Last year, last summer, I showed you all this design that I stitched. This is Plum Street Sampler, Summertide Blessing. And I thought that this girl riding that black bird was just so cute. I did make some changes on this. The linen I used on this, I think, is Smoky Blue by Picture This Plus. And I used all the called for colors. I just changed the color of her skirt. I made it white, and I put red. Colors are hard. I put the red marks on here, and I changed the color. I just changed her colors a little bit because I wanted her outfit to be red, white, and blue. I finished it in this frame from Hobby Lobby, and I put a vintage strawberry tomato pin cushion and finished it with some twine and a buffalo check bow. So cute. And as you can see, not perfect. I pulled it too hard and made it wavy. But now that I've learned what I did with Pierre, this probably happened when I put interfacing on. It probably made it wavy here. But I really enjoy this piece a lot. And it is always out. They have this Plum Street Sampler, Paulette. She made this a series. There's one for spring, summer, winter, and fall. So this is Summertide Blessing. And then this was professionally finished for me as well. Back at the same time I had the Lady Liberty or the Brenda Gervais one done. This is a freebie by Sub Rosa. And I did modify this. This is one that went down a little further and it had a different border. I just moved the word Liberty up and I took out some of it because I wanted it just to be a small. And I just really love that bunting on the top. And Joy finished this with this really pretty primitive firework fabric and red chenille trim. So this is a small that I put out for summertime, really. A lot of my patriotic pieces I leave out all summer. And then this is Henpeck. I did this last year, showed it to you all. This is Plum Street Samplers Henpeck. And this is one that I did with magnetic boards and I finished it on sticky board. And I put it on this metal cheese grater. Well, it's not a cheese grater, but it looks like one. That's what it looks like to me. So I put it on that. But I just love these. I love anything with chickens and flags. So this is Henpeck by Plum Street Samplers. So those are some of my previous finishes. I'm going to put these back on my shelf. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I put everything back on the shelf. My table's just not big enough to leave everything out. So I wanted to go ahead and put it away so we can have a little bit more room on my table. So I mentioned to you all earlier this month that Artie with the Vintage Stitcher, she wanted to do a pincushion challenge in the month of July. And she called it hashtag pincushion challenge. And on Instagram, and I have been meaning to share with you all some of my pincushion collections. So what I want to do is share some of these with you. Some of these are vintage. Some of them are I made myself. Some are gifts, and they're just a lot of fun. So let me start with this one. I shared it with you all a few weeks ago. This is one that a viewer sent me. So cute. And what I did in pulling all of my pin cushions, I have them displayed on many different areas, is I did a little research on pin cushions. And pin cushions have been around for a very long time. And what I learned was the first record in history of pin cushions is around the 1600s. And what the purpose of the pin cushion was is that pins were extremely expensive to in a sort of a luxury item, and so they needed to be stored or placed somewhere for safekeeping. And oftentimes they were either, I've shown you in my Quaker series, the Quaker balls that the girls would wear on their waist, like as a satchel. They were used to keep pins in. Tomato pin cushions were also around this time. They weren't tomatoes, but they were round balls, and they were placed on their mantle to keep their pins in. I keep saying pin cushions. Also, if you look at vintage or antique sewing notions from the Victorian era and before that, they had wooden, you've seen the wooden cases with a twist top, and those were used to hold their pins in as well. These were often kept at close hand on the woman during the day. So whether it would either have been in her pocket or on her waist, because they were needed to have easy access to their pins and needles. So, but because they were so expensive, they wanted to have them someplace for safekeeping. So the tomato pin cushion had evolved into, or the ball pin cushion had evolved into many other types. The Victorian era, we started seeing more like more of the decorative, like the boot and the shoe, and they would put their pins in the top. They became more decorative and more of a novelty item rather than functional and wearing it on their body. So, and the strawberry on pin cushions was used to sharpen the needles, and that was filled with emery, and that's spelled E-M-E-R-Y, and that was used to sharpen their pins and their needles. So I thought that all of that was fascinating. All of that can be found on the internet. I've read many different just brief history of pin cushions. It's just a whole nother rabbit hole if you want to go down that. But here's some more of my pin cushions. I have a jar of vintage tomato pin cushions, but this one's one of my favorite ones I wanted to pull out and show you. I love the color of this red. This has so many cute, just a lot of cute details to it, but I like the shape. This is a square tomato rather than your traditional round. This one came with a lot of old push pins in it. And that stem is just so unique. I think at one time it probably stood up, but in time it's lost its stiffness. So this is one of my favorite pin cushions. This was a gift. I show this to you all. A viewer sent this to me, and I think this is sweet. I believe this is a hands-on design, or maybe it's a heart and hand design, and I love how it is put into this little clay pot or baking dish. So sweet. And these I got at a vintage store. This one with a little puppy on it. I thought that looked like Scout, even though it's more poodle. This girl is really sweet. She's supposed to have a thimble here, but the thimble got misplaced when we moved. But I really liked her blue dress, and it looks a lot like the Holly Hobbies did in the 1970s. And then these are also some more vintage pin cushions. And you can see their heads. And this one's a little flower, but that's where they would put their pins on these little girls. And then I have one more like that. And then these are some that I made. I showed this one to you all last summer. This is a vintage tomato cup that I found at an antique store, and I made this was actually one of my first ones I made, and I made the top into a pin cushion. And then this was a vintage teacup I also got at a antique store, and I made a top with some strawberry, I believe this is a Bonnie and Camille fabric. And then these two I made last week, and these are just those little silver bundt pans, just teeny tiny. And I made these little pin cushions. I put a button on this one and this one, and they both have rickrack around them. And then this one I put rickrack down inside of it. Super fun, super quick. My friend Celeste with Celeste Creates has several videos on how to make not only pin cushions, but tomato pin cushions. If you want to go and check her FlossTube out, I'll link it below. So she's so creative and so talented. So those are some of my pin cushions that I have either collected, received as gifts, or made over the past few years. So now I promised you all a special guest, and I have actually two special guests that I'm going to share with you all. And so what I'm going to do is insert a video here of my girls, Bella and Scout. You have asked to meet them many of you have asked to meet Bella and Scout, and they are my two dogs. So here's a quick little video that that we made earlier up here in my room, because they are so unpredictable. I can't leave them here by me during the entire video. So here's Bella and Scout. Hey guys, y'all have asked if you can meet Bella and Scout on several occasions. I've had many of you ask, and I thought this would be a fun time to introduce my two fur babies to you. So I have set them up a little bed in my chair, trying to elevate them a little bit because they're too big to put on the table. So I brought them upstairs to say a quick hello to you. So these are my girls. Scout is a little shy. She's gonna hide her face until I pick her up. But this is Bella. Oh, Bella. Bella is a big girl. Aren't you a big girl? Bella is a big girl, and she is just a sweet, sweet girl. Bella and Scout are both Cavalier King Charles Spaniels, and Bella is 9 years old, and Scout, the little one, I'll pick her up in a minute, she is 5 years old. So Bella is just the sweetest, most loving dog that we have had. She is always, always so sweet, always comes to us, all of us, for attention and for love. but she is the one y'all hear snoring all the time. And I jokingly say that Bella is also my pet pig because she can sound like she is snorting like a pig. So she just loves to get a love bath all the time. She is totally in love with Matthew. He is the only one who she just looks at just with so much affection. And they are both just make our home complete and so sweet. Let me try to get Bella up for you. Come on, Bella, are you gonna get up? Bella does not like to do anything that requires energy. Come here, Bella. So this is Bella. Bella, say hi. So she is big. She's about 25 pounds, which is large for this breed, but she is, just gives us more to love for her. And she just wants to look at me. Here, Bella. She's just a sweet, sweet girl. We just love Bella dearly. We've had Cavalier King Charles Spaniels before. Our first one was a rescue, and his name was Oliver. And they are just the perfect breed for us. So let me get Scout for you. Scout is a much smaller. She is the baby of the family, and she just loves to be held. She does not want you to have any sudden movements with her. She's very, just a very gentle soul. She likes to sleep with us. She always has a baby or a toy that she carries around with her. She and Bella are the best friends. They love each other so much. Scout cannot be away from Bella. So if we have to take Bella to the vet or somewhere, Scout always has to tag along with us. So they are a lot of fun. Scout, the only noise that she makes is she whines every once in a while when she knows that I'm about to leave, or if she wants to get on her bed and get in the bed with us, she'll make a little whining sound. And then Bella, she snores, grunts. We call her the Hoover vacuum cleaner. She goes all over the floor and tries to pick up anything she can find to eat. But they are both just so sweet and just a big part of our lives. And I just wanted them to say hi to you. They are just the sweetest dogs. I love them so much, and I hope you enjoyed getting to meet them. I'll try to post more pictures of them. They're very difficult to photograph. They're just funny dogs. So, okay, so let's share with you, I'm going to share with you my whips that I've been working on this week. I actually have, no, let's go over my fully finishes, and then I'll show you my whips. So I had 2 finishes this week. I have been stitching Summer in the Round by JBW Designs, and I forgot to pull the pattern, so I've shown it to you many times. So Judy Whitman has a round series, and I stitched Summer in the Round and finished it last time. I showed it to you in my last video. So I fully finished it today, and so here it is. Here is Summer in the Round by JBW Designs, and I'm going to just come in a little bit and let you look at it, and then I'll talk about it. So this is stitched on 32 count antique white fabric by Zweigart, and I used Wavy Navy by Classic Colorworks. I stitched it using 2 strands of floss over 2 threads of linen. And then I finished it on a red wooden paddle from Stitch Etc., which I thought was just the perfect size and shape for this design. And this is the very first time that I have finished something round. I've never finished anything round before. I've been terrified to do that. And so many people told me that actually finishing something round is easier than square or any other shape. So there are a lot of YouTube, FlossTube videos on finishing a round piece. So I watched a couple of videos. I'll link those below. And I was going to record or do a video on me finishing it, but I got a little nervous since I've never done this before. So now that I am not afraid to do this again, I will do a video of my own, and once I kind of figure out a little bit more about it. But Summer in the Round, I ripped some fabric, blue nautical fabric, and you really can't see it, of course, and I ruffled it and put it behind the circle. So what I did is I cut my sticky board into the round shape, added 2 layers of batting, and I did not use interfacing, and then I centered this on the board. Excuse me, I didn't center it. I did a running stitch all in a circle after I cut my fabric. I did a running stitch all the way around it, and when I started pulling to start lacing it, I inserted the sticky board, made sure it was centered, and then kept pulling my string to start closing it in, and I laced the back of it. So I laced the round linen, the round piece, and then I ripped my fabric, the blue fabric, and I used a long needle, and I did a, I call it swishing, I don't know. I ruffled up some fabric, and when I got it the length I wanted, I used the Eileen's tacky glue and glued it behind the sticky board. And then from there, I glued the rickrack. This is red Lori Holt rickrack. And I glued it behind and then put all of that on here. I used the Eileen sticky glue, tacky glue for all of the fabric, all of the gluing, but then when I was ready to glue it to the wooden board, I used a hot glue gun. And I like how simple it is. I thought about getting some pins or getting some charms or putting a bow, but I just liked it being simple, and I thought the red on here really made all the other colors stand out. So this is JBW Designs Summer in the Round, and using a Stitch Etc. wooden board. So thank you, Kim, so much for the paddle so I could finish this. I will link her page below. And Judy, thank you for a wonderful design as always. So that was one of my finishes this week. My other finish was, if you all remember, a couple of weeks ago, I shared with you that a shop owner that we used to have in Knoxville, our local needlework shop, used to be called Three Sisters, and it closed probably about 7 years ago. And the owner of that shop, Deb Franklin, she passed away this past January. And her husband had an estate sale of sorts with just her stash, her antique samplers, some pieces that she had stitched before, just all kinds, anything that had to do with needlework he sold. And some of the items that he sold were things that she stitched, and I shared with y'all a couple of pieces that I got that she had stitched. One of them is Long May She Wave, and it was just the stitch piece. It was not finished, and so I FFO'd it. I fully finished it today, and I wanted to share it with you. So what I did is I finished it into this pillow, and I did use interfacing on this because I was going to be poking and pushing it with to stuff it. So I wanted to make sure that it was protected. So I believe this is I don't know the designer. I'll have to look it up. I have not found that. Of course, I haven't really looked. It looks like a Little House Needleworks, but I'm not sure. So I'll look it up. If I can find it, I'll list it below. But this is I'm assuming it's called Long May She Wave. So this is what I did. I made it into a pillow. I had this blue fabric in my stash, and I didn't know if I wanted to do rickrack or a chenille trim on it, and I didn't know if I wanted to add that fabric in the front. So what I decided to do was keep it simple. So I just did the fabric on the back, and then I decided to use this navy blue chenille trim from Dames of the Needle, and this is it is called Miguel's Navy, and here it is. It's a very thin, it's a beautiful shade of navy. This is my favorite navy. But here is Dames of the Needle, and it's Miguel's Navy chenille. So I hand sewed the chenille all the way around, and I think that blue just really stands out on this pillow. It's just, I love how it turned out. I'm really pleased with my the way I stuffed it. I feel like I'm getting better at doing that. It's taken a lot of time and a lot of practice. Sometimes I don't like how it can feel bumpy. So I did a lot of lofting. I've always followed and used Pfeiffer's Twisted Stitchers FlossTube tutorial on how to make these pillows. I will link it below as well. I've also done my own video on finishing a pillow, but Vanna's is perfect. So, and one thing I've always learned from stuffing a pillow is when you think you've stuffed it enough, stuff it a little bit more, because it wants to settle, and then when you go to finish or close in the hole, it just wants to sag. So I feel like I got I stuffed it pretty well. And so what I really think I wish I'd have done is stuff the corners a little bit more, but I'm happy with how it turned out. So I will try to figure out who this designer is. It's pretty old, because Deb probably stitched this a long time ago. But I'm really glad that I was able to finish it for her. And now she will rest in my dough bowl. I think I'll keep this one out all year round too. So very happy. 2 of my finishes this week. So now let's go into my whips. I keep thinking it was just 1 week of stitching, and I was like, oh, I got a lot stitched this week. It was really 2 weeks. So I didn't stitch as much as I had hoped, but I did stitch quite a bit. So these are in no order. So my first one is a Barbara Anna design, Dreaming Frida. Dreaming Frida is part of Barbara Anna's Dreaming series, and I am stitching this for Kim Gavlik, my good friend Kim. We each picked out a Frida Kahlo design. She stitched one for me, and I picked out another Barbara Anna design, and it's called Frida and Diego. She picked out this one, Dreaming Frida. So here's my progress. This is being stitched on 36 count Vintage Country Mocha. And I worked on this one last night. So I'll hold it back so you can see the modeling on the Vintage Country Mocha. And I worked on these flowers and half flowers, half butterflies last night while I was watching FlossTube. One thing I wish I had done, I wish I'd stitched this on 32 count instead of 36 count, because I'm afraid it's going to be too small. But I think by the time it is finished, because this is where I am. I did start in the middle, but I went towards the left. And so this is where I am. So this is kind of where I am. So I guess it'll get a little longer. It just seems like right now it's just so small. But I'm using 1 strand of floss over 2. And there's a lot of color in this piece. So it is a very slow stitch because I'm constantly changing color. But it's so much fun and so pretty. I love all the bright colors, but it's all DMC floss. So it's 1 strand of floss over 2. And I know Kim is excited to get this in her hands. So hopefully I'll have it done. It's supposed to be done by Christmas. So fingers crossed, Kim, you know I'm working hard to get it done. I did have a little hiccup on this next piece. And I'll tell you what I did. I misplaced the sheet, one of the pages of the pattern. So even though I did not get to really stitch on it that much, I still want to show it to you. But when I found the second sheet, when I moved the chair earlier to for Bella and Scout. So that's when I found the second sheet of paper of the pattern. But this is AH to EE by Kathy Barrick. It's a reproduction Quaker sampler from 1806. And I really am enjoying this stitch. I'm also using 36 count Vintage Country Mocha on this, and it's monochromatic. And the color that I decided to go with is Wavy Navy. And I think the pattern, I think Kathy used, it's a green. She used very dark shutter green. It's either an a DMC or an MPI color, but she used a green. I'm using navy. But this is how far I got, which is right here. I'm on this motif up here. So now that I have found my page again, I will, am I doing that right? No, I'm not showing it to you the right way. Here we go. I will work on this. I did decide to start this one in the upper right corner. So I am really enjoying this. Now, because it's on 36 count, I'm using 1 strand of floss over 2. And it's just such a delicate stitch. I really am enjoying the way the navy is showing up on this fabric. It's so pretty. I just love Kathy Barrick's pieces. Speaking of Kathy Barrick, I'm also stitching her daughter's piece, Liz Matthews. So this is Hello from Liz Matthews. This is her Be Kind, Be True. And this is so pretty. Be Kind, Be True. And I am stitching this using, what am I using? DMC. All the DMC floss. And the fabric is Toasted Almond. 40 count Toasted Almond by Fabrics by Stephanie. And here is my progress. So since I saw you last, I finished, I filled in the top. So I did the Be Kind, Be True. I stitched the bumblebee, and I started filling in the background for the top. I just love these colors. But I'm using 1 strand of floss over 2. This is 40 count, and you can see this is really small on 40 count. So it's going to be like a little postage stamp size by the time it's done, but I just love how dainty it is. So this is Be Kind, Be True by Hello from Liz Matthews, and I'm using all of the called for DMC. I'm still going. I got a lot done. So my next whip that I worked on this week was JBW Designs, An Elegant Alphabet. And y'all know I love Judy's designs. I feel like I always have one in my rotation. But this is my progress. I stitched on this one in the car on the way back from the beach, which is unlike me to be able to see this in the car. But I think because of the white linen, it was able to, I didn't have to have any sort of magnification, just my readers. So here's my progress on An Elegant Alphabet. Let me move my coffee. We really don't want to coffee dye this fabric. So here's my progress. And I really like the size of it. So you can see the width of it. And I just love all of the details that Judy did on this. So let me see. I think I have a bigger picture of it. So I have done the top here. I did the wavy line, and I'll go back and add the swans, and I've done this and just a little piece here. I am using 32 count antique white linen. I'm using 2 strands of floss over 2, and the color I decided to go with is Aztec Red from Weeks Dye Works. And I actually got another skein of it because I think I'm not gonna have enough to finish. So I ordered another skein. But here is that color, Aztec Red. So it's kind of a pink red. I didn't want it to be too hot pink, and I didn't want it to be too red. And so Amy at Cross Stitch and Crafts, she suggested this color, and I think it's perfect. So last time we met, I had you all ask me some questions, and someone asked me why I had a lot of linen or used such a big piece of fabric for some of my pieces. And for this one in particular, if you remember, I had on this side the Summer in the Round stitched on this, and I was going to do another round, but I went ahead and cut that off. But someone asked me why it seemed like I was wasting a lot of fabric when I do that, or when I am stitching something, why I have so much of a margin around it. And I would rather have more, of course I'm not going to be wasteful, but I would rather have more of a seam allowance or fabric allowance than too little, because you don't want to get to either finishing or get to an end of a project or working on a project and realize that you don't have enough fabric. And in this case, I knew that I had enough because I did the math and I checked it many times, but I knew that I would have enough to do 2 of those rounds and have plenty of room, because I've never finished in a round before. I wanted to make sure I allowed for mistakes. So I wanted to make sure I had enough fabric. And then I knew that I had just enough to do this. And really, if I had cut more off, that wouldn't have been enough. If I had cut a 2-inch margin over here, that wouldn't have been enough to do another project. So I would rather have a little extra and be surprised at the end that I have enough to do another project than to not. So when I do that, if I know that I am not going to start in the middle, if I cut the fabric specifically for a project, more than likely I'll start in the middle. But if I'm using a piece of fabric that I know will be big enough for multiple projects, I'll start in the upper right hand corner and give myself a 3-inch allowance. So I have a corner gauge and I measure 3 inches from the top and 3 inches from the side, and that's where I put my first stitch, or excuse me, the outermost stitch. So I will go over that in more detail on the next project that I start in the upper right corner, but most of the time I will start in the middle if a fat piece of fabric is cut specifically for a project. So hopefully that clears that up, or makes sense, but that's just sort of what I do. I prefer to start in the middle. Okay, so I did have a new start this week on Tuesday. I got back into my Tomato Tuesday rotation. And if you would like to follow along with us, we are using hashtag Tomato Tuesdays, and that is my Tuesday stitch. I will stitch a tomato themed piece. And what started this is I noticed so many cross stitch designers use tomatoes themed or have a tomato themed design in their stash of designs that they've made. So I started Keeper of the Pins by Brenda Gervais. And this was released this past spring, and I absolutely love it. There are so many wonderful patterns in here. I believe there are 6. So the first one that I started, it was such a beautiful day on Tuesday. I sat outside, I watched FlossTube, and just enjoyed stitching outside in the morning. But I started with this one. I just love Brenda's books. They are so beautiful. But this one is called Needle and Thread, and it says, "My soul is fed with needle and thread." And then here's my progress. I really could have finished this, but it got too hot and I came inside and got busy doing other things. But this was a quick stitch. I did all of this in probably an hour, maybe an hour and a half. What I did with these, I am going to measure each one, cut it, and work on that one because it's small enough to handle in my hoop. I am using 36 count Antique Ivory by Luminous Fiber Arts, and I have this big piece of fabric, and I wanted them all to be the same fabric. So what I'm going to do is when I finish one, I will then decide on the next one, measure it, cut that, and start it. So I'm keeping all of this in this bag until I'm finished, and then what's left over I have for another project. So I have all the floss, everything I need inside this bag, and I just grab it and go. But there are so many wonderful designs inside this. I've seen so many people have all of them finished and they're in a bowl and or in an antique case, and they're so pretty. But I'm using 36 count Luminous Fiber Art Antique Ivory. I love her fabric. She does a really good job with her fabric. And you can get it on her website, Luminous Fiber Art's website. I'll link that below too. but I went ahead and got all the floss for all the projects. They all pretty much use the same colors. They just change them up, and everything I need is in that bag, even my hoop, my needle, and a small pair of scissors. So I'm ready to go. So I have a few more whips. I was able to work on, my needle minders got stuck together. I was able to finally pull out my Floral Motif sampler. Have not worked on this in a while. This is Floral Motif Sampler by Scarlett House. And I really do enjoy this a lot. Let me pull out all the floss. Okay, so I started stitching this back in the January, I think. So I have not gotten very far, but now that I've pulled it back out, I absolutely love it. So since I last picked this up, so since this last week, I stitched these 3 flowers, this little flower, and this basket. And I really like all of the little tiny details on each little motif. Each little motif is like a fun finish. I really love this color. This color is Soot. And the pattern, it's a pretty big pattern. I am using 40 count Picture This Plus Mallow. And I got this all kitted up. I had all of the floss, but then I got the fabric on one of my trips to Finishing Touch last year. So this will be a nice size. But the 40 count, I love the way it looks on 40 count. Of course, it'll look beautiful on any count linen or any count fabric, but just the way all these little pieces pop out. But I'm using 1 strand of floss over 2, and it is a blend of Weeks, and actually there's just 1 Weeks Dye Works, and the rest are Gentle Arts. So here are all the colors, and they're all just so pretty. But here's Soot. I think it's one of my new favorites. It's a beautiful shade of gray. All of these colors. But each motif is like a sweet little finish. So if you didn't want to stitch this whole thing, this would be so pretty with a lot of different smalls. If you want to do some of these as little smalls and make a bowl or little gifts or a needle book, so many options you can do with this, or just take out a section of it and make your own little sampler with it. It's really pretty. But this is Floral Motif Sampler by the Scarlett House. And I hope to get more progress on this week. And you all will be so proud of me, and I'm so excited to pull this back out. It has been forgotten in my drawer, not forgotten, but pushed to the side of all of my whips. And I am excited to say that I have pulled out a Quaker Christmas by Bygone Stitches. This is a project I started last June, so a year ago. I started with Artie, the vintage stitcher. We started stitching this together, and we invited other people to join us. A lot of people joined in, finished it right away, or finished it by Christmas, which was what we were hoping to do. She and I did not. My friend Melissa from Stitch with Mel, she has been working on this too. She has given me the nudge and the encouragement to pick it back up and pull it back out and get to it. And I'm so glad she did. I am really enjoying this. So I worked on it for just a little bit the other day, and I am using the Called For floss. I got this all kitted up in 2017 when I was on a trip in Williamsburg. So I got all the floss and the linen at the same time. And this is one of those projects that, because it has a lot of the same color in it and it's such a big piece, I went ahead and got all of the floss at the same time, because you want to have the same dye lot. If you buy like half now and half 6 months from now, there's no guarantee that the dye lot of that green or red or whatever it is that you use as your main color will still be the same. So I got them all at the same time, and the Called For Classic Colorworks is Ye Olde Gold is the gold, Balsam Fir is the green, and Cupid is the red. So here's my progress. Not a lot. I only worked on this one night. But here is, for those of you who haven't seen it in a while, what I worked on this past week. Let me fold it. Down here at the bottom, I worked on these 3 motifs right here. So what I want to do is get this section done. I want to fill in here and get this border done, the bottom border. And this has really made me want to pull out all of my Quaker Sampler books again and start up the Quaker Sampler history or just sampler history segments again. A lot of you have asked me that question, and I definitely will start working on that. I'll make an announcement over the next 2 weeks of when I think I'll bring those back. What I did is on the 25th of each month, or around the 25th of each month, I did a special edition Quaker Sampler history segment. They were about 15 minutes long. I gave you an update on my Quaker Sampler that I was working on, and I told you a little bit of history about Quaker Samplers. So my last one I did was in November, so I definitely want to bring those back to either a monthly rotation or a couple of times a month, so stay tuned for that. This is still a pattern you can get, the Bygone Stitches. So much fun. And this is another one. If you don't want to stitch the whole thing, you can pull small motifs, make a Quaker Christmas ornament tree. Artie, what she's doing is she removed Merry Christmas, and she, I believe, is stitching their last name there so she can keep it out year round. I stitched Christmas. I may still leave it out year round even though it says Christmas. So, but I really do enjoy this piece a lot. And that is all of my whips that I worked on this past week. I did not do a lot of stitching at the beach. I really just focused on either relaxing on the beach. I read a lot. We did just a lot of things together, so I didn't do a lot of stitching. I'm not one who can stitch on the beach. I don't want to get sand on everything, and it was just so hot. I didn't want to carry stuff down to work on. So I just really enjoy listening to the waves. So it was a wonderful trip. I am going to share with you my haul and my Happy Mail. So let's jump into that. I got a lot of Happy Mail over the last few weeks. So hold on one second. Let's see. Some of these I'm going to ask you, if you sent it to me, to please, I have one card and I know what you sent me, but I don't have your address. I don't know what I did with the envelope. So here we go. This card is from Judith. Judith, I think I do have your address, but please send it to me. She sent me some stamps, and she sent me some Blackbird Designs booklets to use as giveaways. So she sent Beneath the Sunlit Sky. She said she had duplicates. How nice is that she's sharing these with us. Moonlit Garden. So these will be future giveaways. Where My Heart Blooms. I just love Blackbird Designs, and that was so nice of you, Judith. Thank you. Avery sent me a beautiful card. Where is her card? Here it is. Oh, Judith Avery. There we go. Sorry, I do have it. I do have your address. Thank you so much. Okay, found it. And then I have Mamie sent me a card. I got a needle minder and a couple of more thank you cards. One from Joanne and Jennifer. These are they've had previous giveaways. Barbara, and this is a beautiful card. She got it from Trader Joe's. I just love Trader Joe's, but that's so cute. And from Jennifer. And if you have won a giveaway over the last few weeks, it is in the mail starting tomorrow. Thank you, Jennifer. It was very sweet. I did read all your cards. With me traveling, everything's packaged and ready to go. They'll be shipped tomorrow. And so, okay, so today, these came today. This is from, oh goodness, where'd it go? This is from Teresa Cuneo, C-U-N-E-O. She is jerseygirlstitchco.com on Instagram. Excuse me. Her email is jerseygirlstitchco.com, but her Instagram is jerseygirlstitchco. And she and her daughter are starting to sell push pins, or these beautiful pins. And so she sent one for me to keep, which was the blue and white. And she sent some for giveaways. These are so pretty. This one is called Star Spangled, and I actually almost kept it to put in my Long May She Waves, but I said I'd give it away. But aren't those beautiful? And these are really called counting pins, and what they are used for, now they're more decorative, but what they are used for is if you have a long row of counting. So say like on my floral motif and that long border, and I keep getting lost because counting is hard, and I keep getting lost in how many stitches I have. You can use these pins and mark like every 20 so that you're not counting up to 100 and keep losing your place and having to start all over again. So these are great for using as counting tools. So thank you so much, Teresa. These will definitely, one of them will be a giveaway today, and it's going to be the Star Spangled, and the others will be added to our giveaways in the future. I got a few more Happy Mail, or haul. I ordered from 123 Plum Street Samplers 100 Ways. I saw Rika from House of Stitch and Stash. She was working on this at StitchCon, and it was beautiful. So I ordered that. And then Kathy Barrick Gerald. I may already have this one. I'll have to check. If I do, it'll be a giveaway. But I got the the silks for him. And this is 40 count Heartland from Newcastle Linen. And I thought that was a pretty modeling on that. Lots of fun colors in there. Okay. Kim from Stitch Etc. sent us some paddles for giveaways or for me to use in the future. So thank you, Kim. I received from I'm always looking for new sampler history books. This is Embroidered Stories of Scottish Samplers. This is the Subversive Stitch and American Needlework Treasures. So I'm just getting back into that mindset of researching samplers. And the last of my haul / gifts is from Joyful Stitching. She's so sweet. This is from Deborah. She sent a sweet, sweet card. These are one's for me and one's for a giveaway. This one is for me. This is that beautiful Teresa Kogut Christmas or winter fabric. With Deborah's bags, she also sends DMC floss that matches the colors in the bag. She also sends this little floss bag. So sweet and so thoughtful, but very well made. I love how she quilts it on the back. And I love this fabric. I really do like Teresa's fabric. But this one is mine, and she sent one for you. This is a patriotic theme bag. This will be in today's giveaway in honor of the 4th of July. So thank you so much, Deborah. I really do appreciate you sending the bag to me and one for my viewers. I appreciate that. So that will be in the giveaway for today. That's all my haul. Those are all of my gifts. I want to tell you about some plans that I have. Chrissy with Finally a Farm Girl and I My good friend Kay Reese and many other people, I believe, other people are joining in. I can't remember how many, because between me and between Chrissy, we all have different people who have told us that they want to join us. We are going to start our Nottingham by Kathy Barrick on July the 4th. That's going to be our July 4th start. So if you would like to join us, feel free. You can start anytime. It's a start along. We all know that I'm terrible at stitch alongs. So start when you want, work on it when you want, finish it when you want, all those things. So this is the pattern, and I showed it to y'all last video, but this I'm starting on July 4th. This is Nottingham by Kathy Barrick. And when I was at StitchCon, I had it kitted up. So if you are interested, there is a DMC list of colors in the pattern, or you can go with the silks. I chose to go with silks because I just really wanted to, and there were not very many in the list. So I got all the silks in my floss away bags. And this is the fabric I'm using. You can use any fabric you want, any count you want, but this is a 32 count Winter Forest by Fortnite Fabrics. I'm also gonna link them below, so if you want to order any fabric. But I loved the blue on this, and I thought this would be so pretty. And what I'm going to do is figure out where I want to start, because I want to make sure there's enough blue, because this corner here does not have a lot of blue. So I'm going to find a section that has more blue. And I think that's going to look really pretty with this. So this is something I'm starting next week. If you'd like to join us, join us. It'll be a lot of fun. And my other plans. I got a call from Kim Gavlik, and many of you know I'm helping her with the cross stitch retreat that she is hosting at the end of July. I'm going to be with her for a week. She has 2 sessions, and it's in Greenwood, Indiana. So I got a call from her last week. She has a lot going on this month. She has a big announcement at the end of July. So stay tuned for that. I'll definitely share it as soon as I can. But between the surprise that she has at the end of the month and her retreat, she really just needed some extra hands on deck. And so she called me, said, can you come and help me? So on Tuesday, July 5th, I am going to Farmington, Missouri, and I am going to help her with a lot of odds and ends between the surprise and her retreat. And so I will be filming a FlossTube next Thursday with Kim and anyone else who's there and wants to join us. But I'm filming a FlossTube on location with Kim, and I'm excited about that. I'm staying with our good friend Kay, and it'll be nice. We'll be working very hard during the day, but at night, hopefully we'll get some stitching time in. But I'm leaving the day after the 4th. So on July 5th, on Sunday, Matthew and I, this Sunday, the 3rd, we're taking Tristan to cross-country camp in Asheville, North Carolina. So it's gonna be a busy weekend. Tomorrow night, on July 1st, my neighborhood, it's a golfing community, and they are hosting a very huge firework show. It's supposed to be a pretty big deal. They do fireworks every year, but this year it sounds like it's going to be bigger than it has in the past. So my old neighbors, Joe and Nancy, are coming over tomorrow night to watch the fireworks with us. And so it's going to be a busy weekend. So fireworks Friday night, Saturday getting Tristan ready for camp, taking Tristan to Asheville on Sunday. Monday's the 4th. Gray is off work all next week. They don't have camp next week, so she's pretty excited about that. And then I'm leaving Tuesday to go see Kim and Kay, and I'll be gone about a week. I'll come home for about 5 days, and then I'll meet them again in Greenwood, Indiana for the retreat. So before you know it, July is going to come and go, and that's going to really scare me. So with that being said, let's go into our giveaways. So last week, or 2 weeks ago, I asked you all to either ask me a question or tell me something about yourself. You asked a lot of really good questions, those of you who did, and I learned a little bit more about a lot of you. So thank you so much for doing that. I welcome questions all the time. I'm trying to figure out how to do like a YouTube live, and maybe we can do some sort of question answer live, but I also have a interview that I did with Sambry Stitches back in the winter. I've shared with y'all before, so that gives you an opportunity to learn a little bit more about me. So let's go into the giveaways from last week. The first one it was the needle minder and the keepsakes thread drop that I got for you all from Keepsakes. This goes to Caroline Carlson. Caroline Carlson. Number 2 is Summer House Stitchworks. This goes to Linda Sargent, Sargeant. Number 3 is from Judy from Judy Designs. This goes to Sharon Beya, Bayha, Beha. Sorry, Sharon. I know I'm not saying that right. Another one from JBW is Heden 1, Heden 1. Lucy Beans Love and Stitches. This goes to the Floss in Dashund. So floss dash the letter N dash Dashund, DACHSHUND. Number 6 is Trick or Treat from Stitching with the Housewives. This goes to Vicky with an I, Vicky Benyo, Benyo. And last, Country Cottage Needleworks, Santa's List. This goes to Vicky with an IE, Vicky Gillett, Gillet. So, if you all will please email me at theproperstitcher@gmail.com, send me your address, and I will get those in the mail to you soon, hopefully, before I go out of town. If I don't, I'll just bring them with me and mail them from Missouri. So this week's giveaways. And I'll take these with me as well. And then next week when I have my video, I'll just bring them with me. Okay, let's see. Oh, one other thing. On August 27th, just a reminder, is my meet and greet at Cross Stitch and Crafts in Johnson City. It's a Saturday, August 27th from 11 to 5. And I will post a save the date on Facebook and on Instagram. So I'm looking for a Post-it note for the bag. Okay, so this week, so if you want to enter a giveaway, like my video, subscribe to my channel, and answer this question below, followed with the number that you would like to be entered to win. You can enter to win all of them or just select the ones that you're the most interested in. So I would like to know, do you have any pets? And either do you have any pets or what are your plans for the 4th of July weekend? So I am so excited about the 4th of July. It is one of my favorite holidays. So I hope you all have a wonderful weekend and a safe weekend. But do you have pets? If you do, cat, dog, fish, whatever. Or what are you doing this weekend? So here we go. I had duplicates of this. So this is a Chessie and Me kit. This is American Coast. So my mistake is your gain. So this is number 1, and it's a kit. Everything you need's in here, the fabric and the floss. Number 1. Number 2 is courtesy of the Fat Quarter Shop, Bee in My Bonnet needle minder. Number 3, also from Fat Quarter Shop, is Sleigh Ride from It's So Emma. This is a cute pattern. Cute pattern. Number 4 is also from Fat Quarter Shop, Tea Time. It's a cross stitch pattern from It's So Emma. Number 6, Barbara Anna Designs, Halloween Heart. That's number 6. Number 7 is from Teresa Cuno. These are her Jersey Girl Stitch Company, Star Spangled Pins. Number 7. Counting's hard, guys. Hang on. Let's start over. I got out of order. Okay, let's start over. Number 1, I'm so sorry. Number 1, Chessie and Me, American Coast. Number 2, the enamel pen, needle minder from Fat Quarter Shop. Number 3, Sleigh Ride. Number 4, Tea Time. Number 5, Polar Pack. This is from Plum Street Sampler. Number 6, Barbara Anna's Halloween Heart. Number 7, from Jersey Girl Stitch Company, Star Spangled Pins. Thank you, Teresa. And number 8, courtesy of Joyful Stitching. Deborah, thank you so much for this bag, this beautiful project bag in honor of the 4th of July. Absolutely beautiful. I will link everyone's shop below that has a shop. I will link their Instagram if they have provided me that information, all of that. So to enter to win, do you have pets? What are your plans this weekend? Like my video and subscribe to my channel. And other than that, I am sure I have forgotten so many things I wanted to tell you all, but most importantly, I do want to say thank you so much for watching and have a safe holiday weekend. And I will see you all next Thursday in Farmington, Missouri. And I am so excited for this next month. Lots of exciting news coming your way. So thanks again for watching. Have a good week.